Hi, welcome to a milestone edition of Page 2 National. Over the last 4 years, this program has developed and endured trials whilst establishing a network of support among the Australian Christian community. Its goal and purpose to encourage and inspire Australian Christians while seeking their support in launching a broadcast to reach into homes of hurting Australians. This has now been achieved, if only in a small way, with broadcasting commencing on July 16th, 1995. I'm your host for this episode because we're going to hear about the vision God gave Paul and how it unfolded. An amazing story of faith and obedience, revealing the brilliant design of God and his master plan. Paul joins me now to tell us how it all began. Well, how does it feel, Paul, being in a different chair?
I feel like I've lost control.
Oh, well, I don't know how it feels for me, actually, sitting in your place.
Well, you did very well there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Paul. Well, yeah, how did it all begin?
Well, it began, I guess, as a small boy. I always had a desire to be in television. Even at age 6, I guess I was, when television first came to this country.
Wow, that early?
Yeah, I watched the show on TV with Superman, and something deep in my spirit said, that is going to be your life's work. And even if you'd asked me at age 12, 13, what do you want to be when you leave school? I would have said a television director, because I was so sure about what I wanted to do. But as I went on through life, you know, things don't often work out as you think, and I left school and there wasn't the opportunities. There was only the 4 stations, and I tried, I wrote letters, and there was no positive reply. So I went in a different direction, and the heart's desire was all but lost. The original seed was all but dead when I got saved at 21.
Wow.
And then God revived that thing in me. You know, he said he would give you the desires of your heart. He says that in the Bible, and it's true for me.
That happens with every vision, you know. It's amazing when you go through Scripture. In every vision, it's like God gives you a dream and then he kills it.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you sort of think, well, I don't know if this will ever happen. And then all of a sudden he revives it. And
that's right.
In all the years that I've known you, even when you didn't realise I knew you, I used to watch you play drums, you know, in the church you used to go to. I always could see that passion in you for television. It was all you lived for.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been there all the way.
All the way, and it's been something that I guess you have to wait for God's timing for that to come out.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, the lesson in I hope, this testimony that I have, is that God's timing is perfect.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was a Christian for 2 years that God actually spoke to me deep in my spirit that he would definitely give me, or he gave me a vision for television.
Wow.
It was on the beach of Scamander, a little holiday resort on the east coast of Tasmania. Wow. Debbie and I were just strolling along the beach, and it was at a time in our lives when I was between jobs and I was seeking new direction. I was young, ambitious, full of energy, drive, wanting to serve God but not knowing quite what to lock onto. And I was just open, and we prayed a simple prayer. We said, God, please let our thoughts be your thoughts.
Yeah.
And as we strolled along, we sat down and started talking, and we started talking about how I'd always wanted to be involved in television. And in fact, we talked about kids' television, which hasn't come to fruition yet, but I believe it will. And Debbie was talking how she'd love to work with kids on television.
Yeah.
And this thought, it just starts with a thought, and often does. When God speaks to you, it's often just a thought.
Exactly.
And this thought grew in my heart during those holidays, and every day I knew and I knew and I knew that I knew that this was to be what God called me to be part of television, to use the power of the media, to use the network that has been set up, to use it for the good of the kingdom, and also to obviously build the kingdom.
Yeah. And when it is from God, it doesn't get lesser, it gets stronger. That vision just grows, and I know that's been there in you. Like, it's never really left you. No matter what happens, it just seems to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah,
it's
and
amazing.
even the hard times, you seem to endure because it's something planted by God.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you think of Joseph, hey, you know, he gets thrown into a prison because he'd had a dream. And he has furthest from the dream. He's in prison, yet somebody else had a dream, and he says, oh, tell me your dream, because God interprets dreams. And he's still, I mean, I would have given up, and I thought, don't tell me about your dream, because I had a dream and it never came to pass. But he says, oh, tell me your dream, because God interprets dreams. And when God's planted a dream, doesn't matter what tries to kill it, it gets resurrected because God's there. You know?
Well, you know, the next thing I tried to do, of course, was open doors.